My name is John, and I am a nobody. I'd like to share with you a little story today. It's true. It's bittersweet. So it starts off a bit down, but comes up at the end. So I hope you stay with me. I was working for an agency when I had to go to a dementia home in another town, and I met this man. I'd been there before, and I sort of knew him. He was a funny guy. I quite liked him. He had Alzheimer's, which meant that he did a lot of walking, and I didn't see him all the time. And I went up to him one day and said, "Do you remember me?" He didn't speak, and he just looked at me like I was stupid and went like that. Just that one movement said it all. Yes, I do remember you. It was a sad case with him because he'd worked all his life, paid his taxes, got married, raised a family, bought a house, done everything right. And then the time came for him to enter retirement, and the doctor had said to him, "You have dementia." So his retirement, which he'd probably been looking forward to, and it was much deserved, was spent in a nightmare, so there's no justice in the world, and there's certainly no justice. There's no God looking down thinking, well, I'm going to love everybody and be nice to everybody. Well, they weren't very nice to him, or God wasn't very nice to him. So anyway, to cut a long story short, this is still the dark bit. I spent a lot of time following him around the home, making sure he didn't bump into stuff or go in other people's rooms. And I'd also had to clean him up because he was incontinent back and front. And you'd have to sort of convince him or show him which direction to move in if you wanted to get him into his room and into the bathroom. One night, he started to get a bit aggressive. I've never seen this with him before, though if anyone has a reason to be angry and aggressive, it was him. We went down to the dining area, and because it was nighttime, it was closed, and there weren't many lights on, and he was ambling around there, and I was watching out for him. Then he turned to me and came at me with his fist raised, and a look of anger in his face. And I'd never seen this before, and I said to him, it was the first time I've ever raised my voice, or I had ever raised my voice to him. I said, "This is not how it works. It works like I respect you and you respect me." And I shouted at him, and the fist went down, and I never had any problems with him after that. I was back there like a week or two later, and he was on a 2-to-1 instead of a 1-to-1. And my colleague was this very nice, very small, slender black girl from London, or originally from London. And we got on like a house on fire, even though we were chalk and cheese. And we had him in the bathroom, and we were changing him. And he had a little box which you could open the top of. It was a wooden box, or it looked like it was wood. And they had all his pre-programmed favorite songs. So he was jiggling away to the sound of Hotel California while we were trying to change him. And then another song came on, which was by Bob Dylan. And I said, "Oh, listen to that. He likes Bob Dylan." And the girl turned to me. She was in her early 20s. And she said, "Bob Dylan? I've never heard of him." And in a way, that was one of the things that got me doing these very small little video clips, because I thought, if you've forgotten, you don't even know who Bob Dylan is, then, what can I say? So we were changing him, everything was fine. And then these memories kept flooding back I played with Ian McClellan. If you've seen any of the other videos, you know this. And he shared this great story with me about how he was at a party in LA, and he was there with the wonderful Bobby Womack, who's a great songwriter and soul singer. And they were standing at the bar, which is always the best place to be. And Bob Dylan was there. And they were both Bob Dylan fans. And Ian McClellan would go on to play a tour with Bob Dylan. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. They decided to very politely move through the crowd of people and go and say hello to Bob Dylan. And they did. Hello, Mr. Dylan, blah, 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 we're big fans. And then they went back to the bar. A few minutes later, the manager of Led Zeppelin came in, who was called Peter Grant. He was a big guy, overweight, you know, just a giant of a man. And first he borrowed a little Ian McClellan's hat, cowboy hat, and then he barged his way through the other guests, went up to Bob Dylan's table, banged on the table to get Bob Dylan's attention. Bob Dylan turned around, and he's this huge giant of a man, stood up above him, looked down and said, "My name is Peter Grant, and I'm the manager of Led Zeppelin." And Bob Dylan, in yet another sign of his genius, just looked up at him nonchalantly and said, "I don't come to you with my problems. I don't come to you with my problems." What a fantastic put down and answer, all at the same time. And off the cuff, the spur of the moment, "I don't come to you with my problems." Bob Dylan is fantastic. It doesn't matter if you like his music or not. He's a genius. And he's somebody that should not just be forgotten. He's still going strong, and I hope you are too. So, the best of luck to you and those you love. Take care of yourselves, and see you in the next one. Bye for now, and Tchaikovsky.